Streaming now. Yeah, I hope that got caught. I don't know if it did, but I hope it did. Especially as your boss, I hate to break it to you. Oh. Well, I'm a little surprised we're here this week, but I'm happy we're back. Mr. Fisk, that's a creepy thing to say. What? Oh? Oh, that's weird. This should be picking up your audio. It's good to know now though. Okay. No, it is on my end. The audio is enabled, but I think it might be looking from a different source. I don't know why though. Desktop audio. No, no, it's not. Let's try. We'll just try this. I did restart my computer after following a Windows update. Uh, well, my computer booted up with a black screen, so I had to reboot it from there, and it didn't seem to want like that at all. No, nothing. I'm trying to fix it right now. Okay, you guys try saying something? Alright, try again.
Stop trying to control me, Joe.
Okay, good. Your first line back should be stop trying to control me, Joe.
That should be the first line back.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, my audio was set to look for default devices, and I was pretty sure this was set to default device, but apparently not. I don't mess around with those settings when we're off air, so I don't know what would have caused that.
Updates.
It probably something. Maybe my drivers got all fucked up.
Things get screwy.
All right, we're live. Let's do this. We got a couple people watching. Thanks for joining us, guys. I suppose we should start off the show by one thing that's noticeable. We are missing a member. Yes, so Nigel needed to take a bit of a sabbatical. We don't exactly have an ETA on when he's going to be joining us again, if he's going to be joining us again, but for his own health, he needed to step away from social media, and yeah, we can only just try to support him in whatever ways we can, right? So
they've lost sound again.
Well,
no, it's coming through our end fine.
Ben is saying no sound again.
Ben, is it me as well, or just those two?
Oh, I think
now Ben's got an issue.
Oh.
No, Ben's just making a joke that dead silence because Nigel's not there.
Yeah.
Oh.
Moment of silence. Moment of silence.
No, it's not that I'm stupid necessarily, but I can see how you might make that confusion.
Yeah. So, and in lieu of that, Nigel did a lot for this channel. He did a lot of the main editing, as well as splicing a lot of clips together for the show, things like that. So we are going to be changing it up a little bit on how we're doing the channel. Our Sunday nights are just going to be a bit of a hangout session, more in it with the viewers. So going to ask a lot of Q&A, going to have some different topics, and hopefully get a lot more interaction with you guys. Probably a little shorter streams than we've normally done because we're not going to have the actual knife reviews. Those themselves are actually going to be done probably independently with the 3 guys. So we are going to be doing some reviews, but it's going to be probably done on our own time when we can edit them ourselves and just put up content that you guys want to see, whether it's the knife reviews and the new stuff coming out. We'll try to stay on top of it, but editing is a new thing, I think, for most of us, except for probably Joe has a little experience, but
some years ago, but yeah. But on the flip side, this means that you guys are probably going to see more concise reviews from us and probably more reviews in general. Hopefully.
Yeah.
This is me being
probably different reviews from different people. So I might throw up a review. We're going to try to keep them short, 5-minute reviews, things like that. Joe might throw one up. Paul might throw one up, and I might have a rebuttal to what Paul has to say, depending on, and that's going to be part of the channel now as well. And I think it should be fun, right? So yeah, and vice versa, because I want them to call me out when I need to be called out, because I ask for key sharpening sometimes. So
that was a thing that was talked about this week extensively. Look, sometimes your keys get dull and they need to be sharpened.
It's a true story. It's a true
also,
story.
I want to give a quick shout out to Dick Richards in chat. I don't know if he's been with us before, but what's going on? Cheers.
Someone show what they're carrying tonight, because I just ranted for a long time, so someone else should talk.
So I was threatening Joe earlier today that if nobody got like into the Nigel rhythm of like, greetings everybody, and that conversation, I was going to throw up a, what is up, guys?
Oh,
yeah. And I immediately said, no.
So next week there's going to be 2 members. Like Joe,
I'll just hit that delete button right now.
I was going to say.
Yeah. On that note, I'm carrying the Kaiser Feist. There's been a lot of Lundquist designs this year that I've really enjoyed, and it's made me want to carry this knife again. And I'm going to pretend like I was carrying it all day. So there.
I was carrying my mini H&K. I have been for a little while now. Yeah, it's a sweet little tank. Yeah, it doesn't get enough pocket time. So, and apparently people will fight hand over fist for that knife. So,
cool. I was also carrying a little knife today. Had the Cold Steel Paradox with me.
A little knife.
Yeah.
Good lord.
Yeah. No, I was actually planning on this guy's been on my neck actually since I bought it. The little Cthulhu adorned minimalist. This thing's just cute as hell. So, been pulling a Paul, just neck knife carrying it. But yeah, the Paradox actually came out to play for once.
I will spread neck knives to everybody.
It's weird.
Like a disease. Like a disease.
I gotta say, I've tried wearing neck knives before. I, generally speaking, am not a fan. They're usually much too large, too heavy, but something in this size range is pretty decent.
Yeah. 100%. They need to be small.
Gonna throw it out there. Nigel showed up in the comments. Thanks, brother, for joining us. Yeah. Yeah, a small hiccup, but life goes on, right? We got to make it work, and yeah, we understand why you had to step away for a while. So, yeah, and as you can see, everyone in the comments as well, they feel the same way. Nothing but support for you, brother. So, yeah, continue on.
Happy to see. So, man, this is weird not having a knife to review. Just gonna say that, yeah.
Well, I mean, we got a couple things to talk about, so
we do.
Where
do you want to start there? Do you want to start with your thing?
We can start with my thing. We don't start with my thing very often. So, so my thing is actually a new company that I found.
I have Google open.
And we've got some good, we've got some bad, but if you want to go to anvknives.com.
Andrew Nicole Victor?
Correct, sir. Yeah. There's some things that definitely get my attention with this particular company. I think it was Birdshot IV, honestly, put up one of their flippers.
I gotta say,
they're from the Czech Republic.
These are some load times, man.
Oh, geez. Really? Wow.
Okay, it just loaded and I typed it up.
That's
Wow.
crazy because I have all the tabs up, and when I did it came up
I'm
really
get-
no problem, right?
I'm-
So
The first knife that comes up, I already like.
The dagger.
yeah, I knew you were gonna like that folder. There's some things in this.
Hey.
Some folders with glow in the dark flippers, just so you can orient yourself to
Oh
know where the
no.
flipper is, just in case. Yeah.
Oh no, that Fairbairn Sykes looking thing.
Yeah, there's a Fairbairn Sykes looking thing. You bet there is.
That's pretty. That's cool.
So
I didn't see that. Ooh.
AVN stands for acta non verba, which means actions, not words.
I just noticed their logo. That's awesome.
Yes. Yeah, squiggly marks. It's
That's
a whole bunch of squiggly marks that
awesome.
stand for AVN. Yes.
I love it. That's fantastic.
Now, they're using a lot of N690, and you boys know how I feel about N690.
Right. What are the prices like?
They're very reasonable. Very reasonable.
Let's take a look at that dagger or the.
Now, they're also
folding knives.
using Sleipner, which I'm a big fan of personally.
That's interesting. Only other company I
And-
can think of that uses it would be.
Steel.
Sorry, Line Steel, and then Fox. Does Fox also use them?
I don't know if Fox uses Sleipner or not. Lion Steel does, definitely. Yeah. And then also some Elmax in there.
I don't know what that is.
Also like Eldax.
So small things, but lately I've been on this weird. I'm really digging some companies from Eastern Europe. Manly Knives Wasp from Bulgaria. The TRC that I have from Lithuania. Like, there's some stuff coming out of there that is super cool.
You're like in the
You can
Lithuania,
change.
okay?
You can change the tab to be USD.
Oh, you could do. Oh, at the very top. Perfect.
I believe so.
That
There's
is much more straightforward. Very
yeah.
cool. Well, let's take a look at this page then. Geez, those are some affordable. The dagger is the most expensive one. Those are all pretty decently priced. I hate, though, that they're all called the Z number.
Yeah. They're jumping on the number train. So that's something I didn't like about it, and that was one of my notes. Is it was like, awesome. They've got some cool designs, and they're not going to name anything. Yeah.
Does that dagger have tritium inserts in the flipper tab? And then the
I
guard?
don't know if they're tritium or not. If it's just a resin glow powder. Yeah.
I don't know, but I like it.
But they have
That's
them on those.
silly.
They have them on the normal flipper, and they have it actually on. There's one with a giant thumb groove nail nick that you can flick open, and they've got the glow in the groove.
Was that the one with the red handle here? Yeah, it sure does. That's kind of cool. That's
And
neat.
especially when you can get these all in black blades, the combination of the black blade plus the glow in the dark actually looks really, really cool.
That's
I
pretty
like that.
neat. Let's see if
I
there's
like that one a lot, actually. Little Nesmuk blade.
That one's only N690. Now,
It's $98. That's okay.
something that deep, Nigel brought up a good point. Deep wire clips.
Yeah.
If you check some of those out, it's like
They're not
the knife
messing
just
around.
keeps going. Yeah.
like there's an eighth of an inch there. That's just pocket clip. That's pretty cool. So for guys who don't think that their knives aren't deep carry enough, apparently there are options available to you.
They are ambidextrous as well. So I looked into it just because I'm a lefty. And yeah,
That's super cool.
Swappable flips it's always a nice thing,
So
even as a righty.
they've just got these 5 models for their folders. What do they got for fixed blades?
So part of what I was going to bring up about this particular company as well is they've got their fixed blades, and then they've also got another category called military tactical.
I see that, yeah.
They're
That's
interesting.
kinda
Right off the
interesting.
bat, there's a fixed blade that's a tracker looking thing, so I know I'm already a sucker because I'm stupid like that.
little stupid, but that's okay. I agree with this particular kind of stupid because as soon as I saw that, I'm like, oh, okay. That looks fun.
I noticed the dagger folder first, and then I saw the tracker, and I was like, now I understand why Dennis likes these.
Super,
But even
super
even
cool find though,
their-
dude.
one up in the top, like left corner, like all of them. The skeletonized is N690. You can get some with different steels. You can get them with N690 or LMAX on some of them, or Sleipner or some. Yeah, so
It's pretty cool. I do want
and
to take.
pretty reasonable prices.
So that tracker looking thing going for 228 American.
I think it's LMAX or is it N690? I can't remember.
Sleipner.
There you go. Yeah, I'm okay with that.
I'm pretty sure Justin's speaking Klingon in our chat right now.
Oh yeah.
For the record. Pretty sure.
I'm not sure about that.
Pocket clip should
sure
never go
that's
over the
Klingon
handle. Yeah.
Knife that pops open.
Fisk,
Okay.
I do agree personally with Fisk, but I also tend to have a preference for being able to palm a knife occasionally. So having a pocket clip there, yeah, that's definitely a hot spot. But if you never use your knife like that, then I guess it's a non-issue. But I do agree.
Well, and at that point, you're digging that much further down to grab your knife because it's actually below the seam of your pants, right? So even that, like having it right at the seam of your pants is kind of ideal because you still have a bit of a knife to grab onto. Where, yeah, sometimes you're fishing in the dark with those like little too deep carry type of thing.
That one you'd almost have to reach down past the clip and catch the hook on the front of the clip and use that to pull it out.
I've actually done that a lot with 3D milled clips. I'll tend to, don't have a good example right in front of me, but I'll be able to pick it up just a little bit. That seems to help.
Yeah. Not that you can actually see what I'm doing there, but
yeah.
For the milled, yeah.
Yeah. I wonder if you might have to do that with these super deep wire clips. So military tactical, huh? Let's take a look at that.
Yeah. So
Justin's enjoying the tactical offerings from them too. So.
Oh, dude. Oh, dude.
That handle looks like a Chris Reeve.
Okay, but here's the thing that I don't understand about this particular category. And don't get me wrong, Fairburn Sykes is sexy as hell, but that M200 at the beginning of it, like why am all of a sudden I'm jumping to $450 and $300 and
let's check the materials that's being listed here. I'm curious about that. Okay,
compared to the fixed blades, I'm like, they just called it a different category and charged a lot more money for basically the same things.
N690.
Yeah.
N690.
This is what I'm talking about.
And
what are the sheaths on
LMAX? The dagger's LMAX. The others, I think I saw a couple that were leather. These are molded Kydex.
You could get both. With the fixed blades, you could get Kydex or leather. I believe there's options on some of them at least.
Yeah, I was gonna say
the neck knife. I'm pretty sure is only Kydex, but
yeah, because the P500, that guy you only get a leather with that one. That's a nice looking leather sheath though. That's a really nice looking leather sheath. Open back, so you can.
And those P200s, you get leather or Kydex.
Okay.
But it's also N690 and it's $139.
Okay, but these are
all of a sudden
these are really small knives though. Let's look at something comparably sized. So the P400, how big is that overall? Length of knife 295 millimeters, and then this guy is 265. So yeah, so this is a little bit shorter, but it's completely DLC coded, right?
Look.
So if this is a small enough company, I know that DLC coding costs a decent amount of money to do.
Yeah, but you go from 139 to 296.
Extremer Ratio can charge these kind of prices for N690 at 58 Rockwell, 59 Rockwell. I mean, I don't blame them for trying.
There might be something else. There must be something else to justify it.
And you all know how much I love a high-riding Kydex sheath. That's for sure. That's my favorite thing ever. So some of these 6-inch blades that all of a sudden the entire handle is just digging up into your midsection. Like,
if you're not stitching that Fairburn Sykes into the collar of your overcoat, you're doing it wrong.
If you own that Fairburn Sykes, you're doing it wrong.
That thing's gorgeous.
Oof. 434 American is a pill
Not for that
though.
many
A
dollars, though.
freaking pill though. Sure, it's a gorgeous looking knife, and the milling on the handle looks excellent. Sure, very nice, purpose built, and it's Elmax. Okay, cool. But yeah, that's a bit of an ask.
Look, the pointy end adds an extra $400. Okay,
An extra 400. It's
you
a
got
30.
a pointy end that's not supposed to be the pointy end.
It's a $34 knife normally.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, this company looks like a pretty solid buy on its non-military tactical stuff, but
Yeah, on their folders and their fixed, it's actually you're getting a lot of knife for your money, right? But then all of a sudden they've got this military category where they're like, we're rounding the handles more. That's it. You're paying way more. Like it's.
What did they do to blacken the blades? It's costing so much extra.
DLC.
I think it's just a DLC. Yeah.
It's
Yeah,
just
no, I know.
plain DLC. So about Saw, I don't really want to watch a
It's
YouTube
Vanta
video
Black
right now.
DLC.
No, so here's one last before we can jump onto someone else's topic or whatever, right? But
Yeah.
the other kicker with all of that is the Teflon washers, and they're super proud of doing in-house Teflon washers
Really?
that have grease relief holes in them. So they add and it's like that's one of their biggest like spiels about this company is their proprietary Teflon washers.
Okay,
Washes that they're doing wrong.
I'm okay with Teflon from CRKT at CRKT price points. I'm not okay with Teflon as a general rule, though. Like,
Okay, like I have a mini skirmish that like I do have to like it's not the smoothest knife, but it's not the like, and it runs on Teflon. So you can do Teflon well if you
well,
know what you're doing.
Trezola, he still uses Teflon as far as I'm aware.
But again, for the price point, I think that's part of what's making these pocket knives so reasonably priced is these in-house proprietary Teflon washers.
I don't think so. I mean, if you look at the prices for shit like phosphor bronze washers, that pennies for a pair. Like,
Justin saying in chat that the tactical stuff looks like it's made in collaboration with a training company. So maybe they up the price and then give it to as a discount to people that are in the training, therefore making it appear like they're getting a deal.
why not?
I see. Spelter. Yeah. Could be.
Who knows?
Could be.
Oh, Dick's
Like
talking
textbook
about
for college.
Dick's talking about Cat's knives.
Yeah.
He's saying, yeah, when I first started collecting, I fell into that trap with Cat's knives. I have like 8 or 10 at way too much money for what you get. Should you have to super glue the handle secure on a $300 plus knife? Jeez. Yeah, yeah.
And anyone who's watched the channel for any long amount of time is that's kind of my big complaint about N690 Cobalt is you're getting a variation of a VG10 type of steel, and Italian companies will charge you 3 times the price of what they should.
And this is my major problem, at least up until recently, with SOG knives, because their high end for a long time was VG10, and they weren't shy about charging you $280 and up for a VG10 plastic handled knife. Recently, they've started using
We're
S30.
talking about Boker?
No, SOG.
Okay.
Yeah. But also, Boker's not nearly as expensive as SOG has been historically. In a lot of cases,
That
not
varies knife to knife, but
yeah, for their Soligen made stuff and for their super high end collectible stuff, sure. But the SOG recently came out with a bunch of stuff like their XR series.
I'm going to call you out on that there, Joe, because you pay way too much money for a Boker Quaken, and it's a nice knife, but you pay too much money because
I didn't pay.
No, not you personally. I'm just saying, like, as far as Boker price point, there's some Boker Plus stuff.
Dude, but titanium, though. And ball bearings.
Justin just posted a very interesting question in chat.
Oh, yeah.
In regards to extremer ratio. DBK just did a video about an extremer ratio knife and just how much they liked it. And I got to admit, after watching that video, I was really impressed.
It tried to give me a little more respect for N690 Cobalt if it's heat treated properly, I suppose, right? Like it's, and I don't know the science behind that, Joe. You might
and that's
do
only
a little
59.
more homework. What's that? The extreme ratio?
Yeah, it's only a 58 or a 59. Like
yeah, and these are a 58 to a 60, so they're in that same ballpark.
Yeah. I haven't actually seen that DBK video yet. I feel like I'm missing out, but
It's worth a watch.
they put it through the ringer kind of thing.
It's a big old chopping knife with kind of
Do we
an
know
odd.
the model name? I can look it up just for visual reference
Yeah,
here.
If you
we
go to
got other
Extreme
things to
Ratio,
talk
you can find
about,
it.
so
Well,
I
I
mean,
just figured because it came up. But
Yeah,
yeah,
it just came up in chat, so we were chatting about it. But yeah, it's changed my opinion, and I instead of just being like, "Ooh, no, that'll never work," I'm going to reserve judgment. If I ever get a chance to handle an extremer ratio, I will make my decision then. Because
so
I've been fooled before.
for the very few of you who are not familiar with Extrema Ratio, I've just got their website up here. This dagger is not far off from what the majority of their products look like. Tons of folders, strange grinds, very blocky looking handles for the most part.
and Fisk was talking about Boker Plus and the bullpup being a good buy, and the bullpup's not a bad buy. Don't get me wrong; it is a fantastic knife, right? But you're paying for everything but the VG10 that's in the blades. You're paying for the micarta and the titanium, and
Yep.
yeah, they throw a VG10 in there, and you pay a little bit of a premium, like you do on some of the overpriced Spydercos. If you like that design enough, you'll
It's
pay a little
it's
more
that
money
tan
for.
one there, the Selvins, I believe.
Yes,
That's
big choppy looking
yeah.
thing.
Yeah.
Selvins, or sorry, the Seth lines, because the Seth lines is what I
No,
brought up. Oh,
the
okay,
Tanto.
I'll go back to it.
Yeah.
Slow websites. There we
Yeah,
go.
no, it's that the VG10 in that bullpup is the exact reason why I don't own that knife, and I love the way that knife looks, and it makes me sad that I don't own it, but I wouldn't carry it. I just know
Yeah,
myself.
they were very hesitant about the blocky handle, as everyone kind of should be, because it's got some really weird lines on it, type of thing, right? But yeah, apparently, practicality wise, every hand position that you needed to do certain tasks gave you the grip that it needed. It's just trying to basically incorporate all the grips into one handle, whether it's feather sticking, fine work, whether it's choking back, chopping work.
It's got a little bit of that towards the back end that I really like in a chopping knife, as far as getting like maybe a 3-finger grip and then chopping with. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I've handled other extreme ratio knives that I still am just like, it's still just an extreme. They're really military and combat oriented. So for someone that's not as military or combat oriented, it doesn't appeal as much as something that's a little more like practical bushcraft, EDC, whatever it may be, right? So,
Right. And as far
That's
as it changing the opinion of N690, um, VG10 is a similar steel. VG1 is a different but similar steel to VG10, and we know that that steel has been used a lot in laminate fixed blades. Fall Niven has used it a lot. Cold Steel has used it a lot in fixed blades. They seem to perform well.
and we got a couple of comments there, Paul, if you want to jump on a couple of those.
Well, Dick Richards is saying that DBK just did this knife, which is true.
Yeah. But there was are they issued to special forces? And Justin is saying Infinite Gunworks is saying the RAO is issued, but not sure about anything else. Yeah.
That's nice.
Yeah.
So yeah,
I'm
not sure.
RAO is. I don't know anything about extreme.
The RAO is basically a folder version of this. I believe that's the one that you can put the pin in to make it a fixed blade. Dutch DBK did a video to that, which I'm sure you could look up, and they were super impressed with that because it was for an EDC knife. It doesn't beat.
It does a pretty good job of being fixed blade.
Basically, yeah. It's she ain't no office knife type of thing.
That is a weird tip.
That sure is.
Also, that's what she said.
Don't like that. Is that also what she said, Paul?
Yep. Didn't
Man,
even need to say it.
I mean, those handles are so strange to me. Does anybody know what they're made out of? I just went past it on the website, but
I think some of them are aluminum and some of them are probably some sort of G10, FRN, something molded.
It's shocked me that a lot of Hogue knives, the big button locks that they make, a lot of them are polymer, and they're still like pushing like 180, 210 kind of deal with 154. So,
Well, you
The,
know, I mean, Emerson could get away with it for so many years, but like they just had to pass the torch on to someone else. It's
Emerson and plastic handled knives. Hey.
well, a 154 and overcharging. It's
Oh.
more the.
But
Fair enough.
titanium liners, Dennis. Titanium liners. When you
The
could
thing
use
that
steel and have a
No
stronger
car-
material.
I was gonna say no carbonized lock face, no inserts. You enjoy that lock stick, you sons of bitches.
Look, man, time is money.
That lock stick means it's more likely to stay closed, right? Like,
Or open.
It's true. And like close it like a man. Your thumb should bleed or you're not doing it right. Like it's
oh boy.
The thing that I was gonna say is, it doesn't have the exact same hand position as your Barus knives, but it does have a very specific place for the first two fingers of your hand when you're grabbing it, similar to a Barus.
on the RAO or the fixed bladed one.
Just extremer ratios in general.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's not something I look at that and go, that doesn't look comfortable. But every time that I get a knife that's like that in hand, I'm surprised by how comfortable they tend to be.
Yeah. It's funny too, the DBK, that they found the knife comfortable, because to me those handles, generally speaking, just don't look comfortable to me. But
Yeah.
I mean, they must be if they're saying it functions that nicely without any complaints about hotspots.
The 2 or 3 that I have handled weren't uncomfortable. They look weird, and like I'm pretty sure it was Mickey that mentioned it's just ugly as sin. Like you can't deny, and that's why it's such a hard pill to swallow about how like good of a knife it is it's just gross. Like,
yeah, it's not a good looking knife.
It's not like
say that.
it's not like a Spyderco where there's kind of like a pug situation going on where it's like, oh, it's kind of cute. Like,
no, that pug got ran over, dude. Like it's
I just want to give a quick shout out to John in chat as well. What's
Hey.
going on, brother?
John, glad you could join us, man.
Yeah. Cheers.
Are we on to someone else's topic?
we could
I
be.
talked about my AVN. No one made a sex joke, by the way, when I said AVN knives. They just went with it.
There's a
Yeah.
sex joke in AVN.
The
It sure
AVN
is.
the Adult Video Network. Come on. If you were old enough, that was right next to Showtime.
Was that just like the squiggly stuff?
HBO. You bet, man. Yeah.
Okay. All right. I just flipped channels until I got to the squiggly stuff. Hope for a boob.
Mr. Fisk's heading out. You have a good night, man.
Have a good night, man.
I mean, it's kind of related.
Sorry.
We could talk about Paul's thing.
My thing.
Yeah.
My
Hey, what-
thing is not so much. Well, I guess it is knife related, but it's not knife centric. It's steel centric. And it's the new announcement about the new CPM MagnaCut, which is a steel designed by Laren Laren Thomas. Jesus Christ, I'll never get that right.
Oh,
Laren
no.
Thomas of Knife Steel Nerds.
I think we may have lost Dennis here.
Yeah, we sure did.
That's a bummer. Well, we can finish introing the thing here. But yeah, that's a pretty good intro. MagnaCut. So, yeah, Laren is the kind of crazy dude who, he's a metallurgist. Oh, we completely lost Dennis. Jeez.
Yeah, he is gone.
Yeah, so we'll just wait a second here before Dennis.
Look, his topic is over, and he has gone to bed.
Dennis took his.
Fisk is out. I'm out. Screw this.
Oh,
If Fisk's
Look
not
who's
around,
back.
then neither am I. That's funny. So
Can't
yeah,
harass Nigel anymore. I can't harass Fisk anymore. That's it. I'm just gonna go pout in the corner.
sounds about right. Well, we just
it is accurate. Yes.
we did just finish the intro for MagnaCut. Have you read the articles about it, Dennis? Are you familiar?
No, but I've watched some tests.
you saw that Big Brown Bear video, didn't you?
Yeah, maybe I saw some multiple Big Bear videos. Yeah. So-
Watch a nail get cut in half.
with like no deformation. Jesus. I mean, having said that though, have you seen some of PM2OG's tests on the crewwear with the Adamas that he's doing lately? Whew.
Yes.
Speaking of
The difference being
MagnaCut, yeah.
you could do that with MagnaCut, and MagnaCut's still stainless. That's
Yeah.
kind of the big feature here.
The toughness of crew wear but stainless.
Like more stainless than 20 CV, which is known for its corrosion resistance.
And it only has 10% chromium in it.
Well, it depends on how much corrosion resistance it has. Is it in one of the Benchmade catalogs? Because then it might just be mediocre because they just throw random shit on things. Anyway.
They sure do. They sure do.
They are not in the list of people that got a sample. From
Benchmade, surprisingly.
Yeah. I'm not shocked.
They weren't the top of the list.
I'm not shocked. So I highly recommend that people go and read the article. It's dense, but if you read it, just skim, read the highlights to see what you can take from it, because there's a lot of really cool information here.
Or Justin, sorry, go ahead.
Justin just asked a very interesting question in chat about how it's stainless with only 10% chromium. Two things. It's got nitrogen in it, which helps with corrosion resistance. And they reduced the amount of carbon as well as the amount of chromium in it to a point where the chromium that's in the knife is in solution. It's not chromium carbides. So all of the chromium that's there is there to provide corrosion resistance.
Yeah. There's also less carbon than you would typically expect for a steel like this, but there is also a pretty hefty addition of vanadium and a little bit of niobium, if I'm remembering correctly.
That's actually what I was going to ask and no tungsten?
Actually, I think he actually spits out the specs further down, so we can take a look here.
Yeah, I'm not sure on this one, right?
So. So his chemical composition, the relevant information is carbon 1.15%, chromium 10.7%, molybdenum 2, vanadium 4, niobium 2, nickel 0.2.
That's not nickel. That's nitrogen.
Oh, sorry, nitrogen. Yeah, sorry, nickel's Ni. I forgot.
Yeah.
That's okay.
But
we're just getting some Damascus we're going to twist up with all that nickel.
Carbide, but nitrogen also produces nitrides. So by having nitrogen there, you can reduce chromium and carbon, and it will do the job of both.
And niobium, which has ridiculously hard and tiny carbides, even better in those qualities than vanadium, but it's expensive to work with, and overall refining that green structure. Like
you gotta be careful
on that edge deformation video, or the edge deformation in the Big Brown Bear
video.
What were you
saying,
guys?
Sorry, Joe, cut you off there.
Yeah.
I was just saying you need to be careful with the amount of niobium that you add to steel, because those carbides can grow exponentially quickly. So you've got to keep it low, but everything that you can put in there, like Joe is saying, produces very, very hard carbides and nitrides that hold up to cutting for a long time.
And super fine grain. That's kind of the big thing whenever you're talking about toughness. And that's something that he was aiming for in the very beginning with this steel. I'm personally super excited to see this become more widely available. There's no word on availability overall yet, but I can't see this not being a fantastic seller for Crucible if they decide to go forward with the contract. Like, Jeebus.
You can correct me if I'm wrong, Joe, but what doesn't the molybdenum in there increase strength at the crystal borders?
Yeah, I think it increases your tensile strength in up to a certain point. I think there's diminishing returns on that. I might actually have to fact check myself here, but I'm fairly certain that's what it does.
So what I'm hearing is that Dick Richards is right when it comes to witchcraft, and that the molybdenum, makes the north wall stronger.
About that.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah. So
we're gonna layman's terms this out here.
Yeah, it prevents brittleness. That's the key feature here, and improves machinability and maintains the still strength at high temperatures. So one of the things that M4 was produced for was to maintain its properties at high temperatures, which made it difficult. Exactly. So it's kind of neat. This steel sits at this weird as hell nexus between super tough, very good edge holding, and excellent stain resistance. And it's just very nice to see a tool steel that's stainless effectively is what we're looking at here. In terms of performance, there was a chart somewhere in this article. I'll see if I can find it relatively quickly. Oh, well, here's a toughness chart where we can look at MagnaCut it sits in and around like Vanitas 4 Extra, which is super cool at similar hardnesses.
Yeah.
How could you?
This,
It's so
this
cool.
stuff makes me nerdy. Like, just makes me want to nerd out.
Like I
love
don't
it.
know if you guys can see the scroll bar here, but I mean this is a long ass article. It's dense, but it also talks about the history of his development with it. It has micrographs.
I don't know if we said
so
it
cool.
yet, but everybody should go and follow Knife Steel Nerds, and join their Patreon, because information like this doesn't come around every day, and he needs to be supported.
I don't know if I'm a super long time subscriber, but I definitely they're one of the only Patreons that I actually support. Just fantastic information. Yeah, here's the graph I was looking for. So that TCC, it's I forget what that stands for, but essentially it's the measured amount of cardstock with a given uniform abrasive that's being cut in a. Oh shoot! I just had that name. What's the name of the machine? The Catra testing machine.
The capture machine, yeah.
Yeah, so this is relative performance at a given Rockwell hardness, as labeled at the bottom here. So MagnaCut's this green line. I realize this is labeled to hell, but this is the MagnaCut here. So you're looking at best S30V edge retention with those with that level of toughness. But it outperforms S35, and it performs comparatively well with things like M4 and 4V and crew wear. Like, this is a super cool steel.
I've been reading articles on Laren's website for the last year, and I think legitimately that was all practice to understand what's going on in this steel. Genuinely, he has let out hints over the last year that he was going to be designing something. Just in the way that he spoke about the history of steel and the properties of this steel versus that steel and stuff like that. There was always a lot of questions about, well, what if you want to find something in the middle of all that? Is that possible?
I personally love the fact that he was able to almost focus the carbide structure on how they form with the specific ingredients. We're like, no, we want this to bond with this, and we want this to
It was so in depth because it was Crucible that did the melt for them. And when they were putting the components in, it wasn't really liquefying the way they were hoping it would, as they were adding the different components. And the guy that was doing the melt called him and said, hey, if we add a little bit more carbon, it'll make it melt easier. What do you think?
I've got that.
And he was like, give it a little bit more time, let it work for a minute, and if it doesn't work, then add 0.1% more. Yeah. And it finally melted, and you get all these awesome properties. And if he had added more carbon, it would have increased the amount of chromium that he would have had to add, and it would have changed everything down the line, right?
And Dick hit it on the head there. They're truly amazing. It really is. Yeah.
So where does this steel sit in application? For me, it's kind of a perfect middle of the road steel. If I want,
we're gonna put it in the kitchen.
Yeah. Well, hey, there's a couple.
No, it would be I said it as a smart ass because it should be it's gonna hit the pocket knife world. It's going to because of the following of what's going on, right?
Laren's dad made Devin Thomas, who's famous in his own right for his amazing Damascus steels over the years. He made a kitchen knife for his son out of that material. To be fair, he made it with stainless San Mai as well because he could, and because it's Devin Thomas. Of course, he's going to do that. But those properties in almost any application is going to be great. It's super fine grained. It's tough. It's stainless. It's got good edge holding. Up to this point, I can't think of any steel that really competes in all three categories with this steel.
I was gonna say, I'm trying to find a category that it wouldn't work in, and other than super high wear, like an S90.
Yeah,
that's.
Dennis, can you think of any steel that
here's
really
the thing, guy.
competes?
Here's the thing: if Extreme Ratio got their N690. Look,
As soon
So
as
their
I
knives
heard,
go from $600 to $1,600, but that's okay.
fine. You put those neck and neck, and we'll see who comes out on top.
I think
So
we will
Dick
know.
just
Yeah.
asked in chat how much trial and error. From the way that I understand it, Laren did so much math in the background. I think it's, what is it? Thermocalc is the program he was using.
Yeah, so he used that to simulate interactions between the materials, but then
Yeah.
he had to do a lot of research on his own to verify that because it was so. Yeah.
But there was one melt that was done, as far as I understand it. They didn't do multiple melts to figure out the steel at the end. It was one that was done, and this is the steel that they have from it, and it's worked.
And now, just because we're talking about it, I saw on our live stream that you have like the kitchen knife with the Sanmai
Yeah.
and the MagnaCut in the core.
Yeah.
What steel was good enough to clad that MagnaCut? Just out of curiosity.
LC200,
Doesn't-
I'll be upset.
It doesn't say. It just says stainless sanmai. So, no idea. No
3116.
idea.
They call themselves a steel nerd channel, I tell you.
Devin just
Look,
didn't
he's
tell him.
talking about his own steel. He doesn't care about the other steel.
That's a good point. Like, I don't give a shit about that steel. That's not
Yeah.
what we're talking about.
Just
Like his
saying.
dad told him, and he just didn't retain the information.
I mean, he looks like he put the end of a burnt corn cob on it for a handle. So the
What
least
is
he
that?
could do is tell us what he clad it with. Come on.
Don't worry about it. Tell you tomorrow.
You
But-
probably will. That's the worst part is you'll probably be a nerd and like put it up in the group chat tomorrow after you figure it out.
Some pretty big names got their hands on it too, as far as
Uh-huh.
like the Phil Wilsons and the Sean Houstons, Devin and Darren Thomas.
Yeah.
I don't know who Big Chris is, but I like his name.
Big Chris. Well, he's not little Chris. He's Big Chris.
Matthew Gregory, Andrew Demko.
Yeah. I think
Apparently, Darren actually changed or shared some with Chad Nell and Jared Osier as well. So
okay.
it says in the article.
It's pretty nice.
I will be keeping an eye on that because I am a big fan of Chad Nell knives. That's for sure.
Apparently, some of the steel was also sent to Brad at Peter's Heat Treating to test the response to vacuum furnace hardening.
Okay.
Yeah, I just read that in the article as well.
Just
I
getting
don't
his
even know what that is.
vacuum.
I'm not gonna lie.
So vacuum for it's exactly what it sounds like. You remove all the oxygen from the furnace as you heat treat it.
Does that get rid of the need for a stainless steel envelope?
To my knowledge, yes. In some cases, you actually pump in a different gas so that you're not in a true vacuum. That way, there's no pressure differential between the inside and the outside. Is it argon? Anyway, there's some kind of gas that's used. That's not oxygen. Something that doesn't react with the steel.
I was going to say argon is non-reactive, isn't it?
With most things, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, super cool topic. I can't wait to see a Spyderco mule team. And then I can't wait to see a knife that's delayed for 45 years when Spyderco tries to figure out what design to slap it in and then how to make it and then where to make it. And oh no, that Charles is not good enough.
So
Sorry.
we were pretty excited about like the S45s and the Spy 27s.
I don't give a shit about
Does
those
that-
steels
I
now.
was going to say, does that go away now because this exists?
So I was
It
kind of
does.
gonna give Fisk a hard time, but he's already gone about like we had to wait an extra 10 years to get a decent steel into a Sabenza because they announced that they're going to be making them with S45 now. Yeah, it's only going to be like a Sabenza 51 by the time they get MagnaCut in there. It's
Maybe they'll jump the ship and just go straight to MagnaCut.
Oh boy.
Be like, we were going to do S45, but we changed our mind.
You said jump the ship. I was expecting jump the shark, and
Yeah.
there's questions all about whether that's already happened. But anyway,
That happened with a 25, didn't it?
Let's not talk about that anymore.
The faraway look in your eyes was perfect.
So there's a third topic, Joe. You got a third topic.
Kind of.
We're not quite at an hour, but we're getting there.
Yeah, it's more just kind of a general question, and it sort of lines up with what you were saying earlier. Overseas produced knives, but not to the left of us, to the right of us. All these Eastern European designs, these Polish custom makers that keep getting shown up on YouTube. There's a lot of stuff being produced in Europe right now that I see, and I don't really understand a lot of it because a lot of it's not in English. But some of the artistry, in particular, for some of those Russian knives I keep seeing on Instagram, uh, keep catching my eye. Herman Custom
Is
Knives.
that sweet Damascus coming out of Russia?
No.
Those are the
No.
Instagram?
No.
I know what
But yeah,
what you're talking about.
so yeah, Herman. Oh shoot, it's not Herman Custom Knives. I think it's just Herman Knives. Shabazz did a couple reviews. They've been showing up on Slicey Dicey's channel.
Is it the Ishtar?
The Ishtar was the most recent one, but just seeing that level work coming out of there, it's like, okay, so there's got to be a lot that we're just not seeing, because you think about all the smaller manufacturers in the States and all the guys who were doing overseas work in China. I don't know. I think Europe's going to be one of the newer hotspots as far as like the North American knife trading, selling, buying community is going to be concerned. Yeah, and there's still only like less than a handful of Canadian makers who are doing things in a large production setting. So I'm going to continue to be salty about that.
I was hoping that your conversation was going to be about Herman Knives.
Yeah.
Because I actually watched the disassembly of the Ishtar
Yeah.
when I got home. Good looking knife.
So as far as I understand, Polish Custom Knives, they're the sole distributor for Herman. But they make gorgeous stuff. Like, really, really cool stuff.
I really like the deep etch in his Damascus.
Yeah, in the Damasteel that they're using.
They have a little bit of a wee knife, a little bit of a concept, kind of.
That one's got a little bit of a...
that's a Rask handle. Yeah, that's a Rask handle through and through right there.
I think these have been made for a little bit longer than the Rask. I think
the cutaway underneath the pocket clip I really liked. I like the fact that it's on more than one knife.
Yeah, it's a it seems to be a standard feature, and the display boxes for these things. I mean, you are paying a lot of money for these knives. They better come with some, nice bells and whistles, but just the fact that they do put the effort in instead of tossing everything in a Ziploc bag and mailing it to you in a parcel, it's just nice to see.
What was that there, Paul?
I don't know what you're talking about.
What? I think you said something there.
Something in my throat there.
Like here's a
frog or something.
Here's a detail shot of the pivot. Just wait for that to come through on your guys' screens because it's worth looking at. Like it's just
that's pretty fancy. That's pretty fancy.
Yeah. So that's the how many dollar dues?
That's dingery dues. Okay.
At least 7. No. This isn't from Australia.
I'm using Fisk's scoring chart. It's definitely 76 didgeridoos.
985. I'm assuming American dollars.
Yeah. I mean, I can't imagine a Polish dollar is up to stuff with a USD. I would imagine not, anyways. If the check was 3,900, whatever Czech dollar reduce for a $150 knife. I don't know. I don't know what I'm talking about.
I'm not going to comment on that.
You shut your whore mouth.
You have your moments, I guess.
I guess. Couldn't even just say a nice thing. He's just...
Has Dennis ever said anything nice just to say nice things?
It's always just sometimes with a little bit of the back of my hand.
Mm-hmm. A little bit of discipline.
No, that's down. I was more up, but anyway.
Semantics. It's yeah, so
it's all in how you stroke it, Joe. You should know that by now. And then that sound comes out. That's appropriate.
Don't like that. Just trying to forcefully erase those memories right now. The last 45 seconds.
All right. On to knives.
Yeah.
So the one thing that I found weird about the knives, and I'm curious if how you feel about it, Joe.
About Herman in particular.
Yeah, specifically the Ishtar. I don't know if it's something that happens in all the knives, but the screws that are holding it together. There's a lot of screws that are
Oh.
done from the inside of the knife.
Like this. Yeah.
Yeah, to hold the like if you have an onlay or something like that, it's screwed from the inside.
Yep.
But you can see the heads of the screws through the scale anyways. And I think he
So-
did a really good job of polishing them out and kind of making them a feature.
Yeah.
But I also kind of wish they weren't there.
I super wish they weren't there, or at the very least, and I get it as far as the visual aesthetic, it looks nice.
How much
Personally,
more powerful is a super wish?
like at least 10 to 20 times, 10 to 20.
Okay, I again, Fisk's scoring scale.
It's not
I
here
For the
now,
record,
but-
I hate it when companies do this shit where they drill directly into the titanium. I wish that they wouldn't do that. Only because I don't want to strip out a screw accidentally. You'd have to be doing it pretty hard into titanium, but even so, I don't like the idea of having the titanium itself threaded. I would rather have a steel plug inset, have that threaded, and then put the screw through. But that might just be nitpicking. That doesn't need to happen because, I mean, this
That's
is what
not
the
even
guy...
the thing that annoys me.
That's the thing. Is it annoying to you that they stick up and that they show through?
Well, no, he went through the effort of like, so on here it's the screws that hold the back of the knife together,
Yeah.
and that's not the end of the world. It's nice when they're hidden on the end, like if you can hide them or whatever else. That's why I like integrals, because you don't get the screws on them. I'm specifically talking about like there's an onlay,
Oh,
a Timascus
yes.
onlay, and there's a screw hole through the middle of it.
I don't know if... No, I don't think this knife has it, but I'll back out into one that does.
You'll have to find one that has a Timascus.
Oh, okay. Well, here's an Ishtar, but this
just
one...
gonna shout out to Zinks EDC. Thanks for joining us
Oh.
tonight, there, brother. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
What up?
You guys getting all caught up with the heads of screws and stuff.
Yeah.
It's a good looking knife. Yeah.
So on
Okay, so that one's from the outside.
that one is from the outside, but the one on Shabazz's review, and I think probably going forward is going to be
That has a southern look to it, eh? Sorry.
a little bit.
Little
it's,
bit.
Yeah, yeah.
It's good. But yeah, as far as the underside of that knife is concerned, that's where the screw head's going to be on the newer versions, from what I understand. But
Yeah.
no.
And like I said, he does a really nice job of rounding off the end of the screw so that the part that is protruding is finished. And even like I saw some of the screws in the Shabazz disassembly where it was a titanium screw, obviously, that had been anodized and then came through. But
See-
you've got this beautiful piece of Timascus, and you've got a screw hole in the middle of it. Like you went through the effort of putting the screw from the inside, and then you see it anyways. Why
Well,
bother?
Well, because it's a little point of interest is all it is. That's really all it is. Because let's face it, you could do. Where the hell did that go? Oh no, where'd my Sabenza go? I've lost my Sabenza. You could do the inlay thing where you just super glue the shit in place. I mean, it works. It's not going anywhere. But I think in order.
3M tape.
Sorry.
I thought it was 3M tape.
It might actually be. I don't really know.
It's got that little pull tab underneath it, so when you're done with it, you can just.
I hate
Get
it.
some replacements there, Joe.
I hate it. Thank you. Oh shit.
Your Coca Bolo.
Yeah, screw you both. No. Yeah, but honestly, I don't mind having the screw poke through. I would prefer that the polished bit come through rather than just having a second screw head. Does it really matter at the end of the day? No. You've got enough of that material showing that I don't think it matters at all. But
Yeah, it just seemed like he was already doing the skeletonizing on the inside, so there's a reason to flip it over and work from the inside anyway, so you might as well drill the hole from the inside. I just thought you've gone through the effort of drilling from the inside, you might as well.
Have you guys flipped through the rest of Herman Knives catalog?
like what do you mean?
There is a Signathus.
Here,
Signathus.
how about you type that out or spell it
page
out?
3 on Herman Knives' website.
I'm not on their website. I'm Polish Custom.
Well then, okay.
Nigel's saying the scales would have to be thicker for it not to poke through, which might be true, but there's other companies out there doing that exact same thing.
How
coming through.
how about? I don't
No,
think
no.
so. I don't think so though, because if you have a thin inlay, like that inlay is probably only about yay
Joe,
thick at most, right?
I'm looking at Polish Custom as well.
Oh, okay.
I'm just
What's-
on the Herman Knives section.
What's the name? Oh, Signathus. It's right here. Yeah. I honestly
Sweet.
couldn't remember what you had said until I had asked.
I'm just saying, you guys should probably look at that because both you sons of bitches would probably like that knife.
Yeah.
I'm looking at his fixed blade that you just scrolled through on our live stream because that thing was a sexy son of a bitch too. But that's not
I
the
do like the fact that he uses a
That's the
teeth one
Signathus.
for the.
That is certainly the Signathus. That's what it says on the website, at least.
Signathus Dragon. Sorry,
Oh,
that's a Signathus short. Gotcha.
oh. Bring. Page
You
3.
get to that dragon, Joe.
Oh,
It's
there it is.
page 3. Yeah.
Oh, shit. Okay, yeah, that is quite a nice...
Like I said, both you sons of bitches would probably oogle over that.
No, it's not up
thing.
on.
Well, there's a delay, but yeah.
Yeah. I know. That's what I'm.
So, that's kind of cool. I like... Are those titanium rods that have just been heat-treated an anode? Let's see if there's a detail shot.
It looks like it.
Oh, yeah. That's a nice touch. That's classy. So this...
Hey, that off-center grind, they're going to focus in on it. Come on, go back to that shot.
Which grind? Oh, this.
The grind of the blade is a hint off-center,
yeah,
but it's not.
Shabazz said his was too, and I'm wondering if this is just might be a tolerance issue with the design itself. So
Yeah, but why zoom in on it unless you get it
It's
perfect?
a liner lock too, right? So it's going to press from the one side. So
No,
Sure,
not even
but-
the blade centering, but the blade grind. If you look
you're
at the
right.
tip,
Yeah.
it's not centered.
oh
Think
yeah,
of all
one
the
side
knives.
is heavier than the other. That's
Yeah,
funny.
it is.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I saw it in the first scroll. You guys need to keep up.
Yeah.
looking
Sorry,
at it.
Dennis.
That's my excuse, and I'm sticking to it. I was
Yeah, that's
looking at
right.
that.
That's some pretty nice details on that. I don't know. Anyway, what I was saying about the inlay was the inlay's probably too small to do like a blind hole, and then have that hole threaded and have the screw engage. I don't see it working all that well.
There's other custom guys out there doing it, though, right?
Yeah, but I also don't like that.
Okay.
Well, okay, think of it this way: if you end up with a blind hole and you end up stripping the inside of that blind hole somehow, because if there's a material difference, it is a little bit more likely to happen. What's easier, to rethread a hole to a slightly larger size, or plug it up and then rethread to the same size, or to take a blind hole and now say, it's fucked, and have the custom maker make a new one for you and then pay for that?
Yeah, but when am I ever going to take the... I'm never going to disassemble that part of the knife. I don't need to.
You're a
And
fool.
Nigel actually does have a good point when it comes to those scales having to be thicker. But I don't know. It almost looked like there was enough material. It's borderline.
You could probably
the
do it.
screws protruding. Yeah,
I just don't know. Yeah.
Nigel's asking about the pivot as well, and whether or not it's got Torx on the back. He gives you a tool that goes with it, so at least you've got a tool to disassemble.
Mhm. And you can put that tool in the box. Sorry, I had to.
I mean, you sure can.
Unfortunately, this does not have Torx on the back. I don't think his knives are keyed on both sides. I think they're just keyed on the front or forward face. Yeah.
The back side of the pivot has like the little.
It's a
cutout, right,
triangular.
just to keep it in place.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which
There's also a blue version of this knife that is really cool because it has a different proprietary pivot and a different tool to go with it.
Yeah, he swaps up his tools and pivots like it's nothing.
It's the same knife with a blue handle and a completely different pivot.
Yeah, this is like
super cool the way he does it.
This is like a tri-way pivot. Yeah, super strange. Now that being said,
I like the blue one way more for the record.
for the color.
Steel.
Yeah,
I like
Everything
the
about
blue
this knife,
without
I
the
like.
dragon carved
Yeah,
into it for sure.
Exactly.
the dragon carving is cool. I like that technique. I really wish something else would have been done on the backside though, rather than just leaving it blank. Especially for the money you're going to be paying for it.
It's one of those things that I can appreciate the artistic value of, but not want it in my own personal.
Look at that. Look at what he did. Look at what he did to the backside of that pivot.
Can't exactly see.
It's going to load in.
Wait for it. There it is. Nice. What is that inlaid with? Is it a piece of wood?
It's a
It looks
piece
like
of
it.
wood.
That's
Good for
cool.
him.
Super cool.
And that is a super tight fit. Like there's, wow, that's cool. That's cool as
so
hell.
this is like the next level of nitpicky, but the two notches that are
It is
closest to
off center. It is off center. Yes, but only
just
but only by
And-
like a tenth of a millimeter.
Yeah.
And that top cutaway between the blue titanium and the silver isn't like perfect. There's a bit of a gap there. There's a bit of a gap in the third one. If you want to be a dick about it, again, why do you take a picture of the off-center grind when you got 100 to choose from? Pick one that's got like, come on.
Because
come
maybe
on.
he's consistent.
Yeah, maybe
Consistency.
he just wants to show you that some of this is going to be unique, handmade, whatever type of thing, right?
Yeah.
So there
Yeah.
could be that too. Yeah.
Not
I'll
everything
think-
needs to be perfect. That's something I'm trying to come to terms with when it comes to
Well-
pocket knives in that kind of price range, right? Like, not everything
gonna
needs
say-
to be perfect.
Yeah, I was going to say that you were saying that earlier. Is that exact same thing? As I don't want to get 3/4 of the way through making a handle scan and go, no, these are no good. I got to throw them away. It's not
and
going to hinder performance, I should say.
And I hate to do this to you guys, but we're just after an hour. We're going to try to keep going here, but I got to go use the washroom here. So if you guys want to keep going, we got at least another, 10, 20, whatever minutes if
Yeah.
you want to keep the stream going. So I'll be back in 2.
Sounds good.
I guess.
So, anyway, I've ranted a little bit about this. We've ranted a little bit about screws. Before we potentially move on to something else, were these screws made out of titanium? I thought that was something that I heard because there was some anodization, or
I believe there was anodization on the screws in Shabazz's disassembly.
okay, because they're not. I don't see anything here in the description for this knife in particular, at least, about the screws being titanium. But I would say that if the screws were titanium and they're going into threaded titanium, I don't feel as bad about those materials, just because you're not gonna strip one out. You're probably gonna strip the teeth on the screw before you actually damage the threading. Which, anyway,
It's going to be a benefit in this case. And like I said, it's something that I think that he did a really good job as far as the screws and doming the heads. They look really good.
yeah,
It's just a nitpick of like, I probably would have just been like, everywhere else it looks really nice. I like the little accent of the little silver spots coming through on this handle. But in the middle of the Timascus, it's like, and maybe he did that one in a blue screw and it comes through a blue section, so you kind of hides it more. I can't remember if that was the case, but
I think it was still reflective on the tip. I think I could be off on that.
you're probably right. You're probably right.
Probably, but yeah, European
Probably.
makers. I think they're Fix IV or Pixiv IV. I think it's Fix IV on Instagram. They're a. It's another. It's not like Blade Show. What are they exactly? I'll look them up. But it's a page that does a whole bunch of different pictures of European makers, and I think they're based in France.
I
And
was gonna say, I think they do a knife show as well as their Instagram.
right, and
There's a show in France that,
Yeah.
for sure.
yeah. Do you remember what their name was? Because they used to turn up on my feed all the time, and I can't recall what they are now.
No, but the Dennis Wolf something comes up, and he's always part of that show. Dennis Wolfspies or Wolfspiel
Dennis
or
Wolf,
something.
the guy from South Africa.
No, that's Gareth Bull.
Oh yeah, Dennis. I follow.
Probably not just him.
I
You could've
follow
said
him.
No,
So that's
he's
Elon
the
Musk.
only guy from South Africa. And we're not going to talk about Chris Reeve with his Sebenza being from South Africa either. We won't talk about that.
Whatever you say, Elon.
Oof. Yeah. Anyway, European knives worth paying attention to, maybe, especially on the art end if you're into that kind of stuff. Is it Steigerwald? I think his stuff appears quite often in those shows as well.
There's another guy that does really beautiful inlays. He does like mother of pearl dragon scale down the side of a knife and stuff like that, and they're absolutely stunning. I can't think of his name.
Oh.
Nigel's saying the FICZ or CX, sorry.
FICX. That sounds correct. Thank you.
Um,
Let me take a look here because they're definitely worth checking out, if just for the eye candy alone.
Why don't you put it on Google so other people can see too, Joe?
Because I want to make sure I'm still following them. They are the maker I'm thinking of. FICX. Oh, FICX Paris. FICX. I wonder if we can actually. Okay, there's a Facebook, there's the Instagram, there's a website. Perfect.
Your website.
Let's see if they have a step. Why are you making me do this? No, go away. Okay. I'm being redirected. Okay, I'm just gonna look at their Instagram page.
Yeah.
Yeah, but like in terms of some of the stuff that they show off, a lot of incredible work. Like, don't you're gonna make me sign in. I'm not signed in. Whatever. Here, I'll zoom in on some of the stuff because the resolution is actually pretty good on some of these photos. Like, just super classy work.
I'm pretty sure that one that has like the facets on it there that you were just looking at is the guy that I'm talking about.
If I could find
Forget
the
his
name.
name for the life of me right now. I feel like an asshole because he does just stunning work.
Marcelo Garau?
Oh, it's a different guy.
Garau Knives.
He makes pretty knives too, apparently.
Evidently so. This
I want to
honestly,
say it's like an ish something.
I think I've followed. Oh, you're gonna make me sign in, aren't you? Yeah, you're gonna make me sign in. Well, we're not doing that right
It's
now.
not important. We're getting to the end of things here.
Yeah. Anyway, super cool stuff. They got a Facebook page. You should go check it out. They have an Instagram. You should definitely go check it out. Yeah.
Well, and like even we were talking about like Eastern European TRC, just beautiful stuff coming from European. There's a Moselic Customs, and he's dropped off the radar for a couple years, but he's back and he's making Bowies. I have a Drop Point Hunter.
The classic Freedom. Is that yours?
I had to dig into the pile of knives here. So,
I think the Freedom's a shorter blade, isn't it?
the Moselic.
That's different. Okay.
That name there, the MOZ.
It's not actually. I don't see it here. Our products. I'm looking under all. It's not on their products list anymore. I wonder if it's Discode.
The which one are you looking for?
Yours.
Well, he's looking for that knife on TRC's website.
It's now called the Freedom. Is the one that it used to be called the Splinter.
That's what I thought.
Okay.
Yeah. So I was right about that guy.
They now call it the Freedom, and there's a slight variation, even though they won't tell me. But yeah.
Yeah, there's a variation called This is Freedom, and then there's a classic Freedom.
And mine's called the Splinter, wherever it is there. Yeah.
Right. Yeah,
That's
that
a
was
really nice knife.
Yeah.
with the Scandi grind. Yeah.
Super thin. Yeah.
M390.
60.
What are they?
62 M390. They're not messing around on their hardnesses.
Whew, okay.
Justin wants to know if you're going to buy some MagnaCut, Joe.
If it's available and I can afford it. Yeah. Yeah.
And we're going to buy some bits that are also out of MagnaCut, but a harder hardness.
Some bits.
To cut the MagnaCut.
No, I'm still going to use tungsten carbide for that.
I'm just being a dick.
It's kind of going back to a previous conversation, but with MagnaCut, you would think that Magna would be some kind of reference to magnets or something like that, with the number of people that think that sharpening realigns the magnets in your knife or whatever else.
You shut your face with that witchcraft.
But
why'd you have to remind me?
Is actually the Latin word for great or awesome, and I love the fact that he called his steel Great Cut.
Where's the where in the article were those advertisement looking? Yeah, these guys. That's so cute. I love those.
I don't think we mentioned, but what hardness is he putting these at?
Well, there was a chart here that went over the hardnesses tested, so we can find out in a
61 to 64, I want to say, something like that.
Optimal, blah, blah, blah.
65 was the hardest that they tested, I think. Yeah, 65, and then the softest that they tested was 61. So he is advocating for a harder Rockwell.
Okay.
Kind of falling in that crew wear kind of, or M4.
Well, I was even complaining today, like most knives, if you're intending for them to be cutting tools, you should be hardening them north of 60 Rockwell if they can take it. Like, you should be close to that optimal hardness, but so many companies are just undercutting. And I get it. I understand why, but just give me something that's gonna hold an edge and be as tough as it can be. Like, come on.
Come on.
Come on. Anyway, anything in chat we want to bring up before we cut out here? Nigel, I am not forging that stuff. Yeah. Yeah. I believe you.
What was the
MagnaCut doesn't get forged; it forges you. You know. It's
Well,
one of those.
Jesus, the M4 bit that I gave him to try out was just brutal.
it reshapes your hammer instead of the other way around.
Yeah, so that thing about M4 having good deformation resistance and wear resistance at high temperatures apparently also applies in its annealed state. So keep that in mind if you want to try forging M4 for whatever reason. Scary stuff.
Yes, high-speed steel has got to be a mother.
Oh, Dick's asking about the sharpening realignment comment.
Yeah, why don't you talk about that, Paul? Because you're the one that brought it up.
Nope.
You gotta.
I said my piece on it. That's the extent of the information that I have.
There is a
Some
myth.
people believe.
Apparently, there's a myth. Yeah.
Yeah, with like honing steels, as you're dragging a honing steel up the edge of your knife, what you're doing is
You listen to one crazy old man, and then you're talking on live internet about it. I tell you.
Do we need to do a segment of our videos now where we do like work stories where we just repeat the crazy
No, that
crap?
wasn't necessarily work related. Shut up, Joe. Jesus. Come on, man. Don't make me be a boss right now.
I wouldn't worry about it.
That was just a crazy old guy that was ranting to Paul one day.
He sure was, and he sure did.
at the bus stop.
Sure. There was a bus stop nearby. Why not?
It was close to a bus.
Sometimes they stop.
Sometimes. Yeah.
All right.
I think we've come to the end.
I think so. So yeah, we're pretty much just going to be reposting these as is. Comments are going to be up, so we're hoping for more interaction as time goes on. I want to thank everyone for coming, for sure. Especially shout out to Nigel. Glad you could join us in the comments, man. It's yeah,
For sure.
definitely something we're trying to stick with and make this thing work one way or another, right? So
Like I said, I'm pretty sure we got about 10 subscribers over the last week while we weren't posting a video. So
yeah. And look for some content coming up. We got to get this whole editing thing figured out. And once we do, yeah, we will be posting up some smaller, shorter videos and go from there.
expect the potential of some Cutlery Lover-esque done in one cut style videos at the beginning as we all learn. And then as that transitions, I'm sure that the editing will come with.
I think for my part, the editing was probably going to remain fairly minimal. People seem to like the shorter cut videos, so.
Oh yeah. Like I said, 5-minute video. What you like, what you don't.
And I think the other thing that I will bring up just before we go or whatever is that we are probably going to put a bit of a hiatus on like the scoring chart. I think more or less we're just going to be a bullet points, what we personally like, what we don't personally like, and we're going to go from there in these short little 5-minute videos from us individually, and we're all just going to be editing our own videos and putting them under the umbrella of the Pokey Factor, right?
I might still score it for my own personal, just so it kind of gives me a baseline to talk from.
Okay, that's what I was going to say, is I think I'll still be using that scoring system to great, good, the bad, the whatever it may be type of idea, the things I like, the things I don't. But I think that scoring system does have some validity, and I think we probably will be using it to make notes about what I would say, regardless of what category that might have been scored in. I'm probably going to be still using that because it shows me a lot of the subjective things about a knife and not just my own personal
it helps
attachment to
yeah,
it, right?
I'd like to think it helps overcome a little bit of bias. Lets you see a knife a little bit more for what it is. And
So
obviously, no method is perfect, but we try to be objective
yeah,
when we
so
can.
I think I'm still going to be employing that method as far as looking at things about the knife, but I don't think I'm necessarily going to be making a score sheet from now on when I'm talking about a knife. It's just going to be what I like and what I don't. So
Yeah.
Fair enough. That being said, we are looking for some more ways to engage with the chat for our discussion videos, which is probably what these Sundays are going to be. Is a lot more of kind of what we had tonight, like a little bit of back and forth chat, talking about stuff that's caught our attention lately, maybe even stuff we're working on or thinking about, trends we like, dislike, that kind of thing.
Yeah, appreciate all the questions we got in chat tonight.
Yeah.
Helped keep the conversation kind of moving.
Absolutely.
new knives coming out. I hope new knives in our collection. Anything you see on social media you want to talk about, things that brought up, like anything from the bullpup to the Super Freak to the TRCs. Yeah, we got lots of stuff to stay on top of when it comes to the knife world.
Yeah, no kidding.
And to the 10 or so people that unfollowed us on Instagram, what the hell? Follow us back. Don't be jerks.
Okay, in their defense, they had to come follow me because they were all the Damascus knife makers, and I've gained like 6 people just today alone.
No,
not a single person was real. So
it's an extra 10. We're at like 980 followers now on Instagram instead of 990. Apparently, taking the week off offended some folks.
That's what you get, man. That's what you get. Anyway,
Apparently.
regardless of, we're going to get through another giveaway. We've got some other stuff sitting on the back burner, probably 2 giveaway right away when we hit some numbers. So we'll be announcing that on Instagram, on YouTube, all of the good times. So
Indeed.
I'm not signing off first. It's weird to sign off first.
That's the order that it goes. It's you, Joe.
I know it should be. But I guess I'm going to have to just say I am who I am. I'm Dennis Vipers, guys.
I am the Iron Joe.
And I'm XL.ca.
Keep it weird, everybody.